Bionicle Legends 10 Swamp of Secrets. Written by Greg Farshty. Recording by Tory. Epilogue. Takanuva shook his head, trying to make sense of all the images that had flashed so rapidly through his mind. One image in particular had seared itself into his consciousness. The energy storm that had torn through Cardanui when Matanui awoke for the very first time. He opened his eyes to see Helrix and Krakua standing nearby. Krakua held the Krana Krata hybrid in his hand. "Now, you know," said Helrix. "We were aware the Toa Nuva would lose part of their memory in the time they spent in the Toa canisters. The better to keep our existence a secret. But we could not foresee how complete the loss would be. They are in Cardanui now, with no idea that if they succeed in their mission, they and the Avmatoran there will all die." "So there's no hope? I can't believe that," said Takanuva. "Of course there's hope," snapped Helrix. "Why do you think we brought you here? You are a Toa of light. Try not to be quite so dim. The key to the Toa Nuva's survival can be found inside the Codex, but they must have the knowledge you hold to be able to use it wisely. You must get to Cardanui and warn them." "If your organization is so powerful, why can't one of your members carry this message?" Helrix nodded. "We have members of great power. True. But none with your ability, the mastery of light itself. Only you can battle the Makuta on even terms, while we launch an attack of our own on the Makuta base at Destral." Takanuva could guess what this meant. If the Order of Matanui attacked the Brotherhood, the resulting war might do what Matanui's death had not: wreck the universe. But he sensed there was something more to the situation, and his silence showed it. Helrix looked away and spoke again. "Recent events have led the Makuta to suspect our existence. Already one of our members, Botar, has been killed. If his mental shield was somehow breached, the enemy may be tracking our other agents even now, but one Toa alone might be able to make it to Cardanui." There was no choice, of course. If this was all some kind of trick, Takanuva had no doubt that he had the power to make this Helrix pay. And if it wasn't, the lives of the 6 beings he admired most were in grave danger. "I'll go," said the Toa of Light. "But what about the Toa Mari? Will someone be here to help them defend the city in my absence?" "Oh," said Helrix, smiling. "I don't think that will be a problem." Takanuva turned to see an armored titan enter the room, dragging another along behind him. He was tall and strong, but looked as if he had been through a war. Both his armor and mask were damaged. But that wasn't what struck Takanuva as most strange. Rather, it was the complex breathing apparatus he wore. Could this being not breathe air? "Meet Brutaka," Helrix continued. "An Order of Matanui member with a somewhat less than sterling record. Still, desperate times. The Mari may need a little convincing to work with him, but I can be very persuasive." "And this is Dweller," Brutaka said, kicking his white-armored captive across the floor. "A Dark Hunter planted here long ago to keep an eye on the city, and to kill you, Toa. He has a way of getting into your head, but I decided to be nice and let him keep his own." "Wait a minute. I've heard of you from the Mari," said Takanuva. You betrayed your oath and almost killed 2 teams of Toa. It took your own partner to put you down. He turned to Helrix. This is your idea of help for Metru Nui? Helrix's expression turned dark.
Understand something, Takanuva. We are in a war. Maybe we have been since the day the Brotherhood struck down Matanui. And in a war, you don't always get to choose your allies or test them first to make sure they are good and pure enough. I would recruit dark hunters and pit prisoners if I thought it would bring the Makuta down.
And what kind of universe would that leave you with? Asked Takanuva.
One full of beings, still free to make their own mistakes,
answered Brutaka. Takanuva said nothing, simply looked from Brutaka to Helrix, unsure of which one he disliked more in that moment. Krakua finally spoke up, trying to break the tension.
Brutaka will be your means of transport to Cardanui, using the dimensional travel power of his mask. It's faster than going by Toa canister, if a little more dangerous.
Takanuva looked again at Brutaka's mask. There were hairline cracks in a number of places. It was amazing it was still functioning at all. But there was no turning back now. I'd have to be insane to trust him, said the Toa of Light.
Haven't you figured it out yet? Said Helrix, offering her hand. You have to be insane to be a Toa at all. It's the first requirement for the job.
After a long moment, Takanuva reached out and shook her hand. Maybe she was right, he conceded. Maybe in a time of crisis, the old rules don't apply. And maybe being a hero was a lot more complicated than he thought.
Take this,
said Krakua. The object he offered Takanuva was, of all things, a sundial.
You may need it.
Takanuva took it, even as Brutaka triggered the power of his mask. A hole opened in space, its edges ragged and distorted, and its size fluctuating wildly. Taking a deep breath, Takanuva plunged into it to begin the strangest journey of his life.
Do you think he'll make it?
Asked Krakua as the hole disappeared with an audible pop.
He has to,
answered Helrix.
If I am right, the Makuta have much bigger plans than just controlling Cardanui. And we may need the Toa Nuva if we hope to stop them. He has to get them out of the core before the energy storm consumes them all. Should we have told him the rest?
Krakua said, obviously a little uncomfortable with what had and had not been shared.
About what is going to happen to him? And what his true destiny may be?
Helrix gave a bitter laugh.
No, Krakua. If we are wrong, then it would all be for nothing. And if we are right, the truth might well drive him mad.
Helrix, Brutaka, and Krakua left the chamber then, to begin the long walk from the archives to the surface of Metru Nui. Each knew what was about to happen, an all-out conflict between the forces of the Order of Matanui and the Brotherhood of Makuta. They walked slowly towards the light, high above, sure in the knowledge that what they were about to do would change the universe forever, or destroy it. End of Epilogue and end of book Swamp of Secrets.